Whenever I am asked about what someone should do to pass a UN job interview, I always reflect on the strategic actions I took, which finally got me selected for my first UN job as a national officer, and later as an international professional officer. The question triggers memories both good and bad, and I'm always reminded that when you want something bad enough, it is essential that you let nothing can get in your way. In this video, I want to share with you 5 things to do that will without fail get you that UN job that you have long desired. I have used these strategies each time I applied for a UN job, and many people I have worked with had almost a similar strategy, if not exactly the same. I want to warn you, however, this is not a hack. It is not one of those get-rich-quick promises or 5 steps to success that you easily apply and eureka, you get selected for that role you are passionate about in the UN or an international humanitarian NGO. I have watched many videos on social media where the creators promise viewers some tricks that will get them their first UN or international NGO job. I can't help but worry for those who will apply the prescribed easy steps. The strategies I share with you here are not easy, and if you are looking for an easy hack, I am sorry to disappoint you. It is not in this video. It is often said, if you do easy things, you will fail hard. And if you do hard things, you will succeed easily. Now I will share with you the steps and then an example of how I applied those steps. Do you know the famous actor Jim Carrey? He is known for his hilarious movies such as The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Liar Liar, Ace Ventura, and many others. Well, in 1990, Jim Carrey wrote himself a check of 10 United States dollars for what he called services rendered. He wrote a check which for him was a check someone would pay him for services rendered not yesterday, but 5 years from the date he wrote the check for himself. Jim Carrey dated the check November 1995. According to Jim's dream, in 5 years he would be acting in a role, any role really for which he would be paid $10 million. Jim did not just write this check, he worked on his acting skills, so that after 5 years he would be so skilled at acting that he would eventually be selected to act in a role and then be paid $10 million for his talent. He prepared for the role even before he knew which role it would be. Let's see how you can apply this approach as you proceed to fulfill your dream to work for the UN or, like I said, any international humanitarian organization. If you want to get that UN role you're passionate about, follow these not-so-easy steps. Number 1, the role you are dreaming to land has not yet been conceived or even advertised. You need to determine what that role is and which organization is offering it. Is the role based in your country, i.e. a locally recruited role, or in another country that is internationally recruited role? Put a name on that role, the organization that is offering it, and where it is located. Do not wait for that role to be advertised. Just find a piece of paper and reflect on which role it is, then write it down together with the other parameters I just mentioned. If you are watching this at this point, you are possibly wondering if I am crazy. Don't judge so fast. Let's apply this first strategy to a specific role so that I show you how this works. In the UN or humanitarian world, there are roles in the area of logistics, which in itself is a very wide role. You may be searching for a logistics assistant, logistics associate, logistics officer, or logistics specialist role. The organizations offering these roles include UNICEF or the United Nations, Children's Education Fund, UNHCR, the UN High Commission for Refugees, UNOPS, United Nations Office for Project Services, FAO or the Food and Agricultural Organization, the UNDP or United Nations Development Programme, various UN peacekeeping operations, the AU of African Union, ECOWAS, the World Vision, MSF, Samaritan's Purse, Save the Children, and many others. In the private sector, you have logistics-related roles in sea, air, or land operations, such as shipping, aviation, and land transportation. Now that you have a role, the organization where that role is the second thing to do is to find the task description or job description, key result areas of key responsibilities that such a role entails. At this point, you are taking this activity very seriously because you have determined that for you to succeed, you have to do the hard work. You have to have a strong hold on any future opportunity. You may already have a logistics-related role, and you might tell yourself that you already know what the role entails. Wrong. Maybe you do, but chances are you do not. That is why you are watching this video, so that you can learn more. The website is a place you can find all the information you may need in this world. So go online and search for logistics-related vacancy announcements or job descriptions so that you can familiarize yourself with a wide scope of the tasks that may be performed in this field. I remember years ago when I applied this tactic to an area in my field. My goal was not to write down all the tasks in my field and all levels so that I could be ready to do the job. However, my end in mind was to inform this asset that sits at the top of my neck, that is my head, which tasks fall within my profession. I was conditioning my head and myself to understand this role widely. This gave me a level of confidence in my preparations, as I knew which tasks are likely to fall within an assistant, an associate, an officer, and a specialist role. You might take these actions lightly, but you'll be surprised that for every 100 job applicants who have the experience for a particular role, only between 10 and 15% of them have taken the time to prepare themselves up to this level, as is evidenced by the quality of the CVs they submit. So, do not be like the other 90%. Take this seriously. The average time a vacancy announcement remains open is 15 days before the deadline. You should be familiar with the job description weeks or months before the role becomes open. You have to be smarter than the other 90% applicants who have done no preparation at all. This takes me to the last tactic. Remember Jim Carrey and how he wrote himself a check for a role he did not know yet and which had not been opened until 3 or 4 years later? This is what you too will do. Strategy number 3. Prepare for the interview even before the role is advertised. I know you want to ask, is this guy crazy? How does one prepare for a job interview for a job they do not know, let alone one that has not even been advertised by the potential employer? Here is how. First of all, there is no shortcut. Anyone watching this video and hoping for a hack, a shortcut, some easy walk in the park, or an easy task like slicing water with a sharp knife, I hate to disappoint you. There is no shortcut, and if you are looking for one, I strongly suggest you stop this video and search elsewhere. If, however, you are one of those who believe that being intentional about a job search brings great results, please stay on. Prepare for the interview assessment even before the job is ever advertised. I now believe you are thinking about the STAR method. While this method will be relevant in future videos, it is far from the preparations you have to start with. Preparing for an interview requires additional steps that are designed to equip you with more information so that you gain confidence that not before long you will indeed be invited for the assessment or an interview for your dream role. This is how to prepare for the interview. You have determined the role and the tasks associated with it. Now for each task, determine which competence you will need to be successful. Some tasks need leadership or supervisory skills. Some need collaboration, negotiation, people development, innovation, planning and organizing, conflict management, judgment, adaptability, flexibility, team working. The list goes on. Write down all the possible competencies as you see them come to work under each task successfully executed. Step number 4 is to break down each competence in its constituent parts. All the things that have to come together so that you can demonstrate and bring to life this competence. Let me give you an example. Let us say you have zeroed in on the competency planning and organizing, which is one of the competencies required for managing any future outcome or a project. The constituent parts of this competence, or the several of the things you need to do, include: A. You first develop clear goals. B. You list the activities that will make you achieve the goal in order of priorities. Which activity must come first? C. Identify and allocate the human, financial, technological, time and material resources you will need for each activity. D. Determine what risks will interfere with the achievement of your goals. E. Implement the activities while seeking support of others as necessary. F. Monitor each activity and adjust the plan as may be required, and take notes for purposes of lessons learned. These and some more are the constituent parts of the competence planning and organizing. The next time you are asked a project management-related interview question, note that the interviewer would like to hear how you explain these 6 parts of the competence. Okay, so far you've identified the role, the task descriptions, the competencies inherent in each task, the constituents of each competence. Now let's tie it all together with step number 5. Reflect on your role as it is now and as it was in the recent past. Write down all the tasks you can vividly remember. You can refer to your CV, as this is most likely the place you have written them before. Now for each task, remember specific examples of where you applied the competencies you just listed. Take your time, do not rush. Remember, the role has not yet been advertised. Put in the work. The journey is more important than the destination, because that is where the real work happens. Once you can remember those examples and can apply the breakdown of the competence, you are on your way to succeeding at the interview whenever it comes. Write everything down in an organized way. Stephen Covey used to say that writing is a psychoneuromuscular activity and literally imprints the brain. You can remember more when you write out your thoughts. So there it is, 5 simple but hard things to start with, so that you are ready. 1. Write down the role you are dreaming to be interviewed for in the future, even before the role is advertised, and identify the organization that will advertise that role. 2. Collect a number of job descriptions related to your dream role and reflect on each task. And 3. Determine the competencies in each task. 4. Break down the competencies in your current role into their constituent actions. And 5. Reflect on your own role and see how you have previously applied the competencies. You are now ready for the interview, whenever it comes. Individuals who are intentional about their success in finding a job and follow these steps will be among the 10 to 15% of candidates who succeed at being shortlisted for assessment stage wherever that job is open. Let me know in the comments below if you have been intentional about your job search in the UN or any international humanitarian organization, and what exactly you did in the comments below. In the next video, I will share with you what you need to do to prepare for the assessment stage. Finding your dream job in the UN is not complicated, you just need to put in the work. Do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone you know that needs it. You have to be intentional in your job search. Are you ready to do the hard work? Remember, if you do hard things, life will be easy, and if you do easy things, life will be hard.